Amen. The UNESCO Artist for Peace will lead us in singing the Philippine National Anthem, and then Miss Sumi Jo of UNESCO Artist for Peace will render a song entitled "You Raise Me Up."
Okay, game na. Game.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, halab ng puso, sa dibdib ko'y buhay, lupang hinirang, tuwid ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisab ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng luwal, hatid pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Amin ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Hawak kayo sa kanya, hawak kayo. Sino? Ikakanta pa. Okay.
you.
Thank you to our UNESCO Artists for Peace. Secretary, please call the roll.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, De Rilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Soberi, Senate President Pimentel.
With 18 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may I move for a minute suspension?
Session suspended.
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reorganization of the Senate leadership.
Any objection? Hearing none, the reorganization of the Senate leadership is now in order.
Mr. President, in accordance with Section 10 of Rule 8 of the Rules of the Senate, I move that we recognize Senate President Pimentel to make a manifestation and a motion.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate President Pimentel is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, Majority Leader, my dear colleagues. All of you who know me know that I am a man of few words. So all I want to say is thank you to all of my colleagues in this august chamber for giving me the singular opportunity to preside over the affairs of our beloved institution in the last 22 months. Thank you too to the entire Senate family for your support. It is already a bonus for me that you, my beloved colleagues, entrusted that exalted position to me. After all, what is important for any person, especially one in public service, is to do his or her best to advance the development of his or her country and people, and not to hang on to the position the individual occupies, come hell or high water. The rostrum up there gives the occupant a unique vantage point. When there was an impasse on the floor, who did I see solve it? My nominee for the next Senate President. When there was a difficult procedural issue on the floor, who did we consult? My nominee. When we needed to know Senate President, who did we turn to? My nominee. When you had issues about recent political developments, who did you approach? My nominee. In short, if something is happening in our neighborhood, who do we call? No other than my nominee. I know on a personal basis that my nominee was the one who helped me solicit your signatures to our 11-point majority legislative agenda. My nominee is an institution in the Senate. He is the longest-serving senator, having served in the Senate for around 20 years now. In his years in the Senate, he has held the following positions: Minority Leader and Majority Leader. He has seen legislative work from all possible angles. He has been there and done that. In his long career in the Senate, he has held leadership. He has always held leadership positions. My nominee is an institution in show business, having been a part of the longest-running variety show in the history of the Philippines, Eat Bulaga. My nominee is an institution in the music industry, having composed and performed songs which are hits during my younger years and which still make the young people of today, the millennials, sway their bodies. He wrote Magkaisa, widely considered as the anthem of the EDSA revolution, for which he won a Catholic Mass Media Award. My nominee is an institution in sports. He has represented our country in international competitions in bowling and in golf. I consider him to be the Filipino version of Tiger Woods. My nominee is also an institution in his own political party. Our re-electionist senators will be happy to know that my nominee belongs to a party which is a friend to all parties. I am very lucky that this person volunteered to help me as my majority leader. I was therefore able to work closely with him for the past close to 2 years. I witnessed his professionalism. He is always present, always on time, always prepared. That shows the dedication of this man to his work and also to our institution. I felt his sincerity as a friend and as a colleague. And best of all, I got to know him on a personal level. I believe in this good man and in his abilities. Hence, it is my honor and privilege to nominate as the next President of the Senate a person whose life appears to have captured the essential components of Filipino life, work and fun. Every Filipino must know how to have serious moments and light moments in life. And I do this nomination without any hesitation because I know that from my close association with him, the senator deserves the post. As a legislator, Senator Vicente Tito Soto III has authored laws that not only address the problems caused by certain aberrations in our society like the anti-drug laws, but also positively promote the aspirations of our people for jobs like the Tourism Act and for justice like the creation of family courts. Not only did he author those high objective legislations, he also sought to make life more meaningful for our fisher folk by his pushing for the passage of the 1998 Fisheries Code, and life safer by requiring people using land transportation to use seat belts. These are but some, I can only mention some of the many numerous achievements of my nominee. Some of the down-to-earth laws that Senator Soto authored and supported for the good of the people. I now quote words of wisdom emanating from my nominee, which I would like to share with our colleagues and the Filipino people. I don't divide my attention among politics, showbiz, sports, or even my family. I weave them all together because I find that only then can I do my best in all of them. Maybe somehow we can use that adage as our own guide in the performance of our work for our people. Hence, my dear colleagues, it is therefore my honor and privilege to nominate as the next Senate President our friend and the people's servant, our Tito Sen, Senator Vicente Tito Soto III. I so move, Mr. President.
Mr. President, it has been moved that we elect Senator Vicente C. Soto III as President of the Senate.
Is there any objection?
Mr. President, I move to recognize the Minority Leader, Senator Franklin Drilon.
The minority leader is recognized.
Thank you, Senator Honasan. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we do not intend to nominate anyone from the minority group to stand as a candidate for the presidency of this chamber. Unless there is another nominee from the majority group, the expectation is that the election will be unanimous. However, unless we manifest our position on record, we might become part of the majority voting for Senator Soto, and we will disappear as a minority group, which I don't think is good. And therefore, Mr. President, in behalf of this representation, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Senator Aquino, Senator Trillanes, and Senator Ontiveros, and Senator De Lima, we place on record our abstention on the election of the next President of the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for that manifestation, Minority Leader. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move to recognize Senator Emmanuel Pacquiao.
Senator Pacquiao is recognized.
Mr. President, good afternoon, and to my colleagues, I rise for a manifestation, Mr. President. I join my colleagues in expressing our trust and confidence in the appointment of Majority Floor Leader Senator Vicente Soto III as our new Senate President. The majority's decisions is an expression of trust and confidence of Senator Soto. I join the majority in fully supporting his leadership. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for seconding the nomination. Majority Leader. Do you move for the previous question?
That is correct, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, Senator Vicente C. Soto III is hereby elected to the Senate presidency.
Mr. President, I move that the presiding officer designate Senator Loren Legarda, Senator Cynthia Villar, Senator Grace Poe, Senator Risa Hontiveros, and Senator Nancy Binay to compose the committee that will inform Senator Soto of his election as President of the Senate.
The senators mentioned, is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. The senators mentioned are so designated. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move for a minute suspension.
Session is suspended.
Mr. President.
Session is suspended.
No, may we...
Mr.
I know, it's
President,
suspended. Yeah, even
ready
it-
to resume?
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, there's no opposition from the female senators, except there's a request from some female senators to include a male senator. Senator Baum is requesting to be included. Senator Lacson, I think, wishes to be included, and Senator JV as well. And so I don't know why the words, who said sexist, you? I don't know. I don't want to talk about sex during a leadership change, except that I don't know where my seatmate Senator Bina is coming from, except that was her comment, and I consulted Senator Risa, a resident expert on gender and gender sensitivity, and so I just speak for the female senators. How many are we? 4, 5, 6? Six.
Is
Okay,
there
I
any-
lost my count.
Is there any objection?
And so that is a suggestion if the chair would agree.
Yes. Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. The senators mentioned are so designated to include Senator Bam Aquino and Senator Panfilo Lacson. And Senator J.B. Ejercito. Session is suspended for a minute. Session is resumed. May we request the family of incoming Senate President Vicente C. Soto to join us, and the Majority Leader, Senator Onasan, to administer the oath to the incoming Senate President. Session is suspended for a minute.
Patawag mo si ano?
Sinabihan mo na. Siya mag-administer. Session is resumed. Senator Onasan, the Majority Leader, will administer the oath.
Lipstick. Dito si Greg. Dito si Greg. Yan, dyan kayo. Dito ka.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Oath taking of the Senate President.
I, Vicente C. Soto III,
Having been elected
to
the position of Senate President,
the position of Senate President,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities
that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
the duties of my present position,
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold
and of all others I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
that I will obey the laws,
that I will obey the laws,
legal orders, and decrees
legal orders, and decrees
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith and allegiance
and maintain true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of the Philippines,
to the Republic of the Philippines,
and that I impose this obligation
and that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Ongoing.
We are ready to resume, Mr. President.
No, we are still resumed. The Majority Leader, the presiding officer, will now relinquish the chair to the new Senate President.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I move to recognize the new Senate President who will deliver his acceptance speech. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, the Majority Leader. My dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, in 1988, I was elected Vice Mayor of Quezon City and became the presiding officer of its council. Inherent in the position is being the chairman of the Anti-Drug Abuse Council, which inflamed in me my advocacy against illegal drugs. Lumipas ang 3 dekada at tinitiyak ko sa inyo na hindi ko inaasahan ang mga pangyayari sa araw na ito noon. Ni sa panaginip ay hindi sumagi sa aking isipan na ako ay maluluklok bilang Pangulo ng Senado. Napakatayog ng mga dating personalidad na nanungkulan bilang Senate President. Magmula kay President Manuel Luis Quezon hanggang sa ating Senate President Aquilino Coco Pimentel III. Sa bisa lamang ng prinsipyo ng demokrasya na ang kagustuhan ng nakararami ang siyang mananaig, ay narito ako ngayon na tinatanggap ang hamon ng inyong iniatas sa akin bilang Pangulo ng Senado. I am deeply humbled and sincerely grateful to the Almighty God, to Almighty Father God, and to my fellow senators who reposed their trust and confidence in me and in my capability to lead this august chamber at this critical and challenging time. I hereby pledge to continue in helping the passage of laws that will be beneficial to the country and to every Filipino, and to continue as well the diligence and dedication of Senator Coco Pimentel, who has been the principal sponsor and author of many landmark laws, among others, the Anti-Hospital Deposit Law, the Expanded Senior Citizens Law, the NBI Modernization, the Electoral Processes Accessibility Act, at napakarami pang iba. Sabi nga, to name a few. So, thank you, Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III. To my colleagues and to the Filipino people, I am committed to do my very best. And with your help, I am confident that I have in my background the template of 9 other Senate presidents that I have served. Ang kaalaman na matututunan saan mang universidad sa mundo ay hindi maaaring maitapat sa karanasan at karunungan na aking nakuha mula kina Senate President Neptali Gonzales, Ed Angara, Ernie Maceda, Marcelo Fernan, Blas Ople, Franklin Relon, Nene Pimentel, Juan Ponce Enrile, at Coco Pimentel. Sayang, hindi ako nakapagsilbi kay Senator Manny Villar. Nadagdagan pa siguro, lalo ang aking kaalaman. Thus, I am guided by Proverbs 3, verse 6. In everything you do, put God first, and He will direct you and crown your efforts with success. Bilang pangwakas, aking inaalay ang karangalang inihandog niyo sa akin, sa alaala ng aking lolo na dating senador din, Senator Vicente Yap Soto of Cebu. Ganyan din sa kanyang kapatid, Senator Filemon Soto, sa aking ama na si Marcelino Soto, sa aking ina na si Dr. Herminia Castelo Soto ng Nueva Ecija, sa aking maganda't mabuting may bahay, si Helen, sa aking mga anak at mga apo, at sa kinabukasan ng bansang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
The Majority Leader.
Mr. President, at this juncture, with the election of the new Senate President, I move that we adopt a resolution informing the President of the Philippines and the House of Representatives that the Senate leadership has been reorganized and has elected the Honorable Vicente C. Soto III as its Senate President.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. President, considering that the former Majority Leader has ascended to the position of Senate President, the chairmanship of the Rules Committee is now vacant. And with that, I move that we proceed to the election of the Chair of the Senate Committee on Rules, and who by tradition will be the Majority Leader.
Any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to elect Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri as the Chairman of the Committee on Rules.
There is a motion to elect Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri to be as Chairman of the Committee on Rules. Is there any objection? The Chair recognizes Senator Richard Gordon.
Mr. President, first of all, allow me to congratulate the new Senate President, the Honorable Vicente Soto, comes from a long line of senatorial leaders, and also Senator Pimentel, who also comes from the, from another Senate President, Aquilino Pimentel. I have the honor and privilege to second the motion of my good friend, Senator Miguel Zubiri, principally because I'm very confident that having been a previous majority floor leader, and a very, very good one at that, he will make sure that the drumbeat of the Senate moves a lot faster and that bills can be tackled in the Senate as we go on. Majority floor leader, Mr. President, must be ready to tackle any bill, and if the sponsor is absent, at times he would have to sponsor it himself. And I believe the new majority floor leader, Miguel Zubiri, is equipped with that. After all, he was majority floor leader way back in 2008 when the most number of bills were passed. During that time, a record number of bills, very significant bills at that, including the Renewable Energy Act, the Automated Election Law, the Tourism Law, and many others were approved, including about 19 universities. Mr. President, he is really equipped for the job, not only intellectually, but certainly in terms of spirit and emotion. He can actually provide the high octane needed to make sure that our Senate has that energy and vim and vitality to make sure that we're able to move the bills here. Certainly he has got big shoes to follow under the heels of the Senate President now, and certainly I'm sure he will be able to achieve that. He's a great family man, like the Senate President. He's always devoted to his lovely wife, Audrey, who's here, by the way, and certainly his children. And I believe that such young people who started out very, very young, you know, he was majority floor leader 10 years ago, and now he's going to be majority floor leader 10 years later. I am therefore privileged to second the nomination of this brilliant young man who serves well and certainly serves with effect. On that note, Mr. President, I second the nomination. Thank you very much.
The motion is duly seconded. The
Mr.
Majority
President,
Leader.
there being no other senators who have signified their intention to second the motion to elect Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri as the Chairman of the Committee on Rules, I move for the previous motion.
There is a call for the previous question, the previous motion. Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri is hereby elected as the new Chairman of the Committee on Rules.
Mr. President, may I request Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri, the newly elected Chairman of the Committee on Rules, to ascend the rostrum to take his oath before the Senate President.
Senator Zubiri is called to the rostrum. We would like to call on the members of the family of Senator Zubiri. Pwede rin. 1 minute suspension.
Ito na, boss. Dito na lang kayo siguro sa tabi ni Senate President. Okay.
Session is resumed. Please raise your right hand and repeat after.
I, Juan Miguel Fernandez Zubiri,
Having been elected chairman of the Committee on Rules,
having been elected Chairman of the Committee on Rules,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position,
and of all other I may hereafter hold
and all other that I am hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines.
under the Republic of the Philippines,
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
That I will obey the laws and legal orders and decrees
that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith
and maintain true faith
and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines.
and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines,
And that I impose this obligation
and that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily,
upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you so much.
Congratulations also.
Thank you.
The session is suspended for a minute. Alam na ni Greg, ano? Di ba? Di ba? Di ba? Di ba?